Hello and welcome! I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. I have to give you a disclaimer, everybody, because this is another one of those train wreck cards. But I feel that it's important because of the feedback that I have received from you all, that you want to see all of the blunders and all of the oopsies that we all have in our crafting. So here's the original card that I designed, and I'm using Picture Perfect Birthday Stamp Set. I like the image of the two-step stamped bow, so I'm going to stamp one in basic black or in tuxedo black, and then come into those little recessed images with some gray. I'm going to fussy cut both of the bows, and well, the second bow is now going to be created with silver embossing. When I had the idea to add a silver embossed bow, I thought it was a perfect combination to add to this piece of beautiful designer series paper from the Sweet Soiree. It has a lovely, lovely silver embossed foil look to it, and it could go nicely with the black tones that I chose to work in. However, putting this card together at about this point, it occurred to me that things were not really working out. I created this project very late at night after the boys were already gone to bed, and for some reason it just wouldn't come together. So I kept trying new things and hoping that that would work. Adding this piece of vellum and adding the silver embossing, I liked very much. But something about the combination of the black card base and this piece of designer series paper was really not appealing to me. Maybe it's the color combination, or maybe it's just a combination of all of the elements that I chose. But regardless, it didn't appeal to me. So I decided that I wanted to keep going and add a few more extra things to see if maybe it would improve. Oftentimes in the middle of a project, I'll take a different direction and really like the results. So I hoped that this would be one of those times. I'm attaching everything to the card base with glue dots because glue dots are an easy go-to for me, but they also are something that I can pull back up off of the card base and reposition if necessary. The glue dots are very forgiving whenever I need to come away with them. I am still at this point adding more to see if I can improve the design, and I'm feeling like it's just a hot mess, but I'm using some of the silver twine to create my own tassel. I'm not really so much a tassel person, but I like to create based on what the likes of other people are as well. So I've added this little tassel, and I'm just about done for the night on what I can do for this card. I stamped the inside of the card and attached it, and I really liked the inside because I think it was very simple and I used a neutral colored ink. But I'm feeling a very strong level of frustration and feel that I really ought to step away from the table and approach the project with a fresh mind on another day. So I'm going to come back to this project with a fresh perspective of how I can salvage it. And sometimes that happens on my projects, other times I toss them in the waste bin. So my new perspective on this is to bring out my silicone craft mat and use a go-to technique that is one of my favorites and just makes me happy to use. My favorite color is blue. To be specific, it's light robin's egg blue, which is kind of a mix between tempting turquoise and pool party. So I go to my favorite technique with my favorite colors and try to make this work. So I'm spritzing all of these little inks with some water. It's not alcohol in the Stampin' Spritzer. I carry two different spritzers. One has alcohol, one has water. And I'm just dabbing on some of this color, and I even added the Wink of Stella to make the color have some sparkle and shine. And I'm going to try to salvage the components from the first card. The sentiment reads, "Cue the confetti," and I thought adding the Wink of Stella shine and sparkle would really kick up the background quite a bit. Because I shook some or squeezed some out onto the silicone mat, there was lots of residual Wink of Stella near the tip, and I could just shake it out and it appeared on the background with big pieces of splatter, as you can see. It really is pretty in person with the eye to behold. I've trimmed it down just a little bit to fit on a mat, and I'm not going with those dark colors whatsoever except for the bow. The bows are black and silver, so I'm going to use that black just as a bit of a highlight and a strong contrast instead of that coral pink color that I had in my previous go. I'm sticking with light and airy mood for the card. Because the background is made with ink smushing, that it's going to have a very natural look. I'm even using over some of those pieces of twine, and I've spun it around my finger and attached it just in a little, like a little thread nest. And I'm going to attach these bows in a different way. The silver bow is going to be featured underneath the black bow because the silver bow doesn't need to show. It's more muted, and that's going to let everything else kind of come together. I'm even bringing over that little dreaded tassel, partially hiding it underneath the black bow and making it appear as if it's just like a little splash spray coming from the side. So let me know what you think. Do you like the first version of the card, or are you more inclined to liking the second version that is a complete contrast? I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day!